got me riding the train.
Welcome to this edition of On the Hill. I'm Christi Welter.
And I'm Jessica Tolan. We're here at the Fayetteville Farmers Market where local farmers and artists come to sell their products.
But it's not just the products that set this farmers market apart from others. We found out for ourselves why it's ranked as #1 in the nation.
Beautiful flowers and fresh produce are just a couple of reasons why people come to the farmers market. On the Hill's Branden Mounts is here to tell us more. Branden?
Thanks, Jessica. For over 20 years, Dripping Springs Garden has been providing fresh produce and flowers here on the square. I talked to the owners earlier this week, and here's what I found.
Well, we're at a place we call Dripping Springs Garden, just about 50 miles east of Fayetteville. We've been here since 1984 and moved here as a place to have both a retreat, personal retreat, and independent business. We actually plant about 50% flowers and about 50% vegetables if you add up all the space that we plant. You know, one of my most valued mentors said that the true purpose of farming is the cultivation of human beings. And so that's going on. You know, we are changing by being here. Because we become more integrated into the landscape. And after 30 years, you feel like this is part of your body. We've always had young people want to come and work with us. And since 1984, we've had somebody here all summer long helping us. If what you want to do is to actually study nature with as clear a mind as possible, this is a great place to do it.
My name is Peter, and I'm an intern at Dripping Springs Garden. I wanted an internship that I could really learn a lot, and that really seems to be the focus of what Mark and Michael do here with their interns, is they really want to teach people about what they do and kind of show them the full experience of the life that they live. I love being here. I've only been here for about 3 weeks, but it's been a wonderful experience so far. Working at the market it's really different. It's a lot different than the work we do here, just because it's so fast-paced.
It's an hour drive. Leave here at 4:30, get there at 5:30. Set our umbrellas and tables up and arrange everything on the table, put all the signs up, make sure we get our change, go to get everybody some coffee from our Zekas, and start selling by 7. People can actually take their money and put it right back into the local economy. The market has counted the number of people that will come by on a Saturday, and it's between 3,000 and 5,000 people that will come in. Consumers were ready to break out of buying, a style of buying in which you never know who the producer is. You don't care whether it's locally grown or not. And now the coin has flipped, and we're at a whole different stage of evolution of public consciousness about food. You know. We call it the heart of Fayetteville, just because people get together and they talk, and you don't have that many opportunities socially to do that as a community. There's so many layers behind that, so many family stories, so many farm situations and histories of people, how they got to be at the farmer's market. So when people come to the farmer's market and they're just seeing the tip of the iceberg.
There's a lot of work that goes into selling the produce and the flowers here at the farmer's market. On the Hill, Sarah Mize took a look at other flower vendors.
Flower vendors Mark Kane and Janet Buckman have worked at the Fayetteville Farmers Market for over a decade. One thing they bring to the market is joy through their flowers.
I started growing a few flowers and then more and more, and now flowers are my primary product here at the Fayetteville Farmers Market.
One reason we like the flower business is that it makes people really happy. You know, good food makes people happy too, but all the color and fragrance makes people especially happy, and it's really fun to be a part of that.
Bachman and Kane harvest their flowers the day before the market in the same buckets you see at their stands. All of their flowers come straight from the garden to the customer.
Basically, the things are brought to market in the same containers that we harvested them in. So we go into the field on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So most of this stuff was harvested yesterday, early in the morning.
For instance, the irises or tulips I try to pick before they're fully open because they will keep longer for the customer.
Folks in and around Fayetteville come out every Saturday to the square to enjoy a wide range of pretty and tasty things, and the flowers catch everyone's eye.
As people step up, they're either bagging up bouquets that we already have made that are on this little bouquet stand, or if they see something special on the table or they want to buy it by the stem, they'll just tell them what they want, what color range they want, or how much they want to spend, and they'll make them up, and then they put them in a little plastic bag with water so that the flowers don't go dry on the way home or while they're walking around market.
People of all ages enjoy stopping to see the colors of spring in the flowers' petals. Bachman and Kane together have a variety, so there is always something different for the visitors to see.
I mean, we have a kind of a constantly changing selection of flowers that goes through the season, just constantly changing, which of course the public likes. Public is easily bored and likes to have, a changing selection of stuff.
Some can't resist and sometimes buy just one flower before leaving.
We have lots of college students, we have university professors, we've got people from churches, we've got people who have gotten used to having fresh flowers on their table over the years. We've got kids that are pulling on their mom's dresses to buy flower bouquets, just everybody. It's a big cross-section. That's why we always try to have a range of prices. Sometimes it's just one little kid that wants one flower and mom can only afford $1.50. So we try to keep it real variable. Anybody can buy flowers, that's what we want, anybody can buy them.
Many people enjoy the food here on the square, but without the joy the flowers bring, the Fayetteville Farmers Market would be incomplete. Reporting for On the Hill, I'm Sarah Mize.
After the break, we'll take a look at some of the local talent that's here at the Farmers Market.
Stay with us, you're watching On the Hill.
No matter where we are, we're presented with choices. For instance, should he wash his hands? At the time, this choice may seem small.
What's up?
But in reality, it can have a massive impact. Save the world. Wash your hands.
Welcome back to this edition of On the Hill. Walking through the farmers market, I heard sounds unique to Fayetteville, and it was music to my ears. Springtime melodies have a unique sound at the farmers market. Different styles of music heard around every corner. Shoppers stop to listen, making this a prime location for local artists to get noticed. Beginning on the streets of the square, this band shares its sound with the farmers market. Philip Shepard and Jackson Lafargue, freshmen at the University of Arkansas, and members of the band Farmer and the Markets, which began here 2 years ago.
We play exclusively at the farmers market here in Fayetteville.
These are pretty young people, and they're choosing these great songs like from the 70s and the 80s, and then they're doing covers, but they totally make it their own contemporary thing.
These curly-haired siblings might still be in high school, but this young group appeals to an older crowd.
They say that we give them faith and like the future and like the children's music now, because we're not just playing like the new pop stuff. We're trying to bring back some older tunes that everyone should recognize.
That's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, wonderful.
Newer requests from their younger fans. Played simply to put a smile on their faces.
Makes their day a little better.
Yeah, it really does. People really, really appreciate it, and we appreciate that they appreciate it.
Their music joins other groups and solo artists, creating an atmosphere that reflects the artistic Fayetteville culture. Reporting for On the Hill, I'm Christi Welter. Musicians aren't the only local artists to take their crafts to the streets. Between the produce and the flowers, more artistic talent can be found. On the Hill's Joe DelNero is here to tell us more.
That's right, Christy. I was able to talk to Beth Westner, a 6-year vendor here at the farmers market who specializes in watercolors. Here's what she had to say. Artist Beth Westner has dibbled and dabbled in various art forms, including pottery and photography. However, her current interest is in watercolor paintings.
I like the spontaneity and the unpredictability of it. I like that it will go a direction maybe you didn't plan and it ends up like a happy surprise. I like the transparency that's involved in it with the different layers and glazes that you can't get with the opaque paints.
Her experience and expertise has only grown in the past 6 years, selling her work at the Fayetteville Farmers Market.
When I tell people I sell my art at the farmers market, it's like, you know, that's vegetables and fruits. Who would buy art? The interaction with people looking at my art is super helpful in creating, knowing what people connect to. You get a huge crowd, so I get a huge audience, and that encourages me.
This craft has been building upon itself for years.
I've just stayed there at the farmers market, and I've done some other shows and then started teaching a few years ago, and so it's just kind of been this growing journey of getting better and having the business grow.
Originally painting front doors symbolizing welcome and memories within, Beth is currently exploring a new theme.
I have journeyed in different directions. I started doing pears and apples, which is this fun theme that I think celebrates women and their shapes and sizes. Women are often compared to pears and apples. And so I'm just making great fun with that and making them real colorful to just express fun and personality.
Westner has since taken her talents off the square and into the classroom to teach other beginning and intermediate painters the secret to watercolor success.
I mean, it was in the blues, but it looks like you took your own little license direction on it. I like that. What'd you say?
What I try to base the lessons around are things that I want to know more about and to learn more about. So then I will do research in books at the library, on the internet, and just pull from things that I feel like I've been successful in, and then just build on that for the lessons.
Let's see, I'm going to use ultramarine blue. And that's really not orange, that's not complete opposite.
The process of being creative and getting away from your normal routine of life, it really is therapeutic to be doing something artistic.
Two of Wessner's favorite pieces. The first, tomatoes from her father's garden. The second, a Fayetteville icon.
I painted George's Majestic Lounge. This is like one of the most popular history places of Dixon Street. The angle I chose, the colors I chose, I put a bicyclist in front of it coming down the street. Those are kind of like my own little artistic interpretations of it.
Right now, Wessner has fallen paint over brush for her watercolors, but in the future,
I'm sure I'll jump in and try acrylics or oil at some point.
Reporting for On the Hill, I'm Joe DelNero.
Up next, we switch gears from paintings to pets.
You won't want to miss it. Stay tuned. You're watching On the Hill.
No matter where we are, we're presented with choices. For instance, should he wash his hands? At the time, this choice may seem small.
What's up?
But in reality, it can have a massive impact. Save the world. Wash your hands.
Welcome back to this edition of On the Hill. Whether stopping by with family or visiting alone, everyone leaves the farmer's market with something. I took a look at what one family found here.
We were not actively looking for a dog the day that we got her.
But when Amy Lee found her, she had to have her. She only needed permission from her husband.
I was working at an office off the square, and so I was sitting there working at my desk, and she showed up and said, "Can you come outside for a minute?" And she was out there with a strange lady I didn't know, and two people we did know but didn't know were at the farmer's market, and this dog.
Yep.
Michael Lee's initial no quickly turned into a yes after spending time with the dog.
She had a cute little wrinkly face. We had talked about getting a second dog before to give Mize a dog to play with.
It was the last weekend of the farmer's market too, so.
They didn't know what they were going to do with her, and she was in danger of being put down because they couldn't keep her at the shelter anymore because she'd been there too long and she was too small to go and be one of the ones that wear the little yellow vests and everything. So she was basically living on borrowed time with foster parents. So she needed our help. She needed somebody's help.
So they took action, and in a few hours, Bella was officially part of the Lee family.
In 2011, Michael got really, really sick and had to go to the hospital, and we weren't sure what was wrong with him. But when even the day he got sick, he was slowly becoming paralyzed, so he was not able to walk anymore, and that's when we realized we had to go do something. So we were able to get him up into a desk chair to roll him out to the car to take him to the emergency room. And Bella came when we had him in the chair and like laid her head on his leg, and it was so sweet.
She came up and put her paws on me. She's not like a dog that licks you a lot, but she came up and put her paws on me and just was like licking my face.
Because she could tell something was wrong and that it was not a normal day, obviously, for our family. He, of course, missed his dogs too, and so when he got well enough to get into a wheelchair, I was able to take him up, take the dogs up to the hospital and see him. I don't know if it was against the rules or not, but I just did it anyway. I didn't ask anybody's permission.
That was a big turning point for me. I told everybody about it constantly when the doctors would come and check on me and everything. That was, I felt like I was starting to get some of my life back. I'd been in the same room for weeks, you know, staring at the same spot on the wall because I couldn't move. So it was a big thing. It was a big deal. That was kind of where things started turning around for us, is when we got to see the dogs again.
You know, it kind of helped us get back to our normal routine and our normal life for him. After he was so sick, to be able to like get back to just bending over and filling up their food bowl, or you know, like walking to the door and letting them out. That made everybody happy that he was able to get back and do that again. It just kind of seemed to work out where, I mean, she really needed us, and turns out we really needed her too. We just didn't know yet.
The dog walk at the Fayetteville Farmers Market is a good way to get dogs out of the kennel, into homes, and changing lives. Reporting for On the Hill, I'm Jessica Tolan. From puppies to produce, these are a few of the things that set Fayetteville's Farmers Market apart from the others.
Each part of the market offers something special, and that's why people come back time and time again.
Wrapping up the last edition of On the Hill for 2013, I'm Jessica Tolan.
And I'm Christi Welter. Thanks for joining us.